we're making wills, drafting wills for people, especially people with children, and they intend leaving some or a lot or all of their estate to their children, then there's two particular provisions that we make ordinarily in a will. And they are in for very specific reasons. So the first one is, in the event of any of my children predeceasing me, leaving a child or children, him or her surviving them. So this covers a scenario where a child of yours might predecease you, and they in turn have children, and you would like whatever was to go to your child to go to their children, then you must have this particular phrase in the will, because if you don't, what you will have intended to go to your son or daughter will actually go to the spouse of your son or daughter. Instead, you may intend that it go to the child or children of your son or daughter. So you need this particular clause in your will: in the event of any of my children predeceasing me, leaving a child or children, him or her surviving, then and in that event I give, devise and bequeath the share of that predeceased child to the children of such child on reaching the age of 18 years, and if more than one, in equal shares for his, her or their benefit absolutely. Just to be clear, this covers a scenario where you want to leave your estate or some of your estate to your child, but you may rule out the possibility or forget about the possibility of your child predeceasing you, and this may not happen for say 10 years, but you may live long and hearty life for another 20, 30 years, whatever. You may overlook your child predeceasing you, and as I say, if that happens, then there's a possibility that the share of that child will go to that child's spouse as opposed to that child's children, which may be what you want. You need this clause in your will if that's the case. And then you also cover a situation where your children may predecease you but don't leave any children. So in the event of any of my children predeceasing me without leaving a child or children, him or her surviving, then and in that event I direct that the share of that child shall pass to my remaining children in equal shares for their own use and benefit absolutely. So this covers a scenario where, for example, you might have 3 children, you leave your entire estate in equal shares to the 3 children, one of them predeceases you. What happens to the share of that child? You don't want it going back into perhaps the residue of the estate. You may not want it going on intestacy. So what you're doing here is you're saying that if one child predeceases you, well then that child's share goes to the remaining children. They are 2 phrases, 2 clauses that we insert in most wills as a matter of course. And they are the type of clause that are easy to overlook, and certainly if you are not familiar with the law or how it works, how wills work and so on, well then doing your own will is all very well and is fine and dandy, and you can make a valid will, but there are certain things that may happen as a consequence of your not knowing precisely what might happen in various scenarios, and one of the scenarios is where your child or children may predecease you. I hope you find this video useful. If you do, I would appreciate if you gave it a thumbs up down below. And you may be interested in listening to my podcast, the Irish Law and Small Business Podcast. It's on Spotify, it's on iTunes, etc. And if you do, I'd appreciate if you followed me, left a review. Thank you very much.